The Missouri Tigers still have some question marks, but so far, quarterback isn't one of them.
You are Locked On Mizzou, your daily podcast on the Missouri Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, all you true sons and daughters, I'm John Miller, your Mizzou mafioso, and the central scrutinizer of Missouri Tigers football and basketball, and a great performance by Missouri yesterday. Really the only problem probably being the pass blocking was a little bit shaky at times against Central Arkansas, no doubt, but a dominant defense, great play by the quarterback. Some injuries, though, and I have a feeling we kind of know what's coming, even though nothing is official with Sam Horn and Missouri's place kicker, Blake Craig. But you know what? Quickly and really sadly, I got to start with some sad news here. Unfortunately, Ben Arnett, KOMU's sports director, very unexpectedly died yesterday at 43 years old. And I did know Ben just a little bit. He was more of a friend of friends, I would say. I hung out when my junior year when I was a newspaper guy with the Columbia Missourian, and I ended up hanging out with all the KOMU guys who were a year older than me, and Ben Arnett was definitely a part of that crew for sure. And Ben was a Columbia guy, a Hickman Cupie, a Mizzou guy, and most importantly, a good dad and a good husband. He is definitely going to be missed. And I was just thinking about, coming up around here and being aware of Ben since he was at KMIZ as a teenager, all the way back in the late 90s, I believe. And I just remember coming up, not really thinking I could be on camera. I think maybe part of that was because I see this guy who's basically my age, who was just such a pro and a natural on camera. I'm really going to miss Ben on the call for those Mizzou basketball SEC Plus games with Jarrett Sutton, too. So, man, this is just pretty devastating. My friend Pat Lynch, who one of those, again, sportos at KOMU in Ben's class, said, "I'm sick. My classmate and fellow sporto, a Como kid, a true son, the guy who was doing exactly what you knew he was meant to do when you met him at age 20. 43 is too damn soon. R.I.P. Ben." Well said, as always there, Pat. And you know what? Just a tough, you can tell I'm a little shaken up by this, and a tough transition. So give me a second here. We'll talk some football. All right, folks, thanks for indulging that there at the top. Just would have felt, wrong to do it in the middle of the show. So again, thank you very much for indulging that quick opener there at the top on the late, great Ben Arnett. But you know what? Let's talk some football, because there was a lot to be happy about yesterday, and, some stuff to be sad about on the football field for Missouri as well. Let's start with the positive things, though, because, first of all, I'm pretty sure that's the only 61-6 result in Mizzou football history. I'll confess to not doing a complete deep dive into Missouri history on that one, but I think that's a pretty safe bet. 61-6, not exactly a common result there, but boy, do you have some Bo Leaf after Pribula, I thought looked tremendous yesterday. Eli Drinkwitz said he was pleased, and, unfortunately, Sam Horn gets one snap in the first half. A designed quarterback run gets hit right on the knee, and, immediately you could kind of tell Sam wasn't getting up really quickly. Then when he does get up, his knee just buckles, and he goes to the ground, and I immediately knew, ooh, this doesn't look good at all. On the other side of the equation, by the way, speaking of injuries, this is probably an even bigger deal. Blake Craig, the Missouri place kicker, on a kickoff return, the rare actually returned kickoff these days. Unfortunately, on the sidelines, Craig, appeared to have had a lower leg injury as well. Sam Horn was seen on crutches, in street clothes, a complete full, leg cast, the whole deal. Eli Drinkwitz, I think, kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit in the postgame, saying very disappointed and sad with the injury to Sam Horn and the injury to Blake Craig. He says that, of course, they're going to find out the degree of the injuries today. Friday as I speak here, and I don't blame Drinkwitz whatsoever for not saying anything official until it is indeed official on these injuries. But I will just say this. If, for example, if one of them or both of them tore an ACL, again, I don't know that's what happened. Just for example, well, the trainers on the field are going to have a pretty good idea if that's the case or not. They do their own, quick examination there, and 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, if a guy has torn an ACL, for example, they can figure that out on the field. And indeed, yes, they'll still go in and do an MRI to find the extent of the injury. Is it a partial tear, a full tear? Are there any other ligaments, any other type of damage in there? All that kind of stuff. But again, if the trainers know and have a pretty good idea, well, Eli Drinkwitz has a pretty good idea too. And he was just talking about the team's reaction to Sam Horn's injury. And he said that the team was devastated, and that, a lot of his close friends on the team, like Zion Young and Brett Norfleet, were just, obviously hugging it out with him. And, it was pretty obvious the vibes were not great there. Not a lot of optimism there with Sam. There was less information, I think, about Blake Craig's injury, but the fact that Drinkwitz threw Craig in there with Sam Horn and the very disappointed and sad tag there. Unfortunately, I think we're probably looking at a new place kicker here, and that is very unfortunate because it seemed like Blake Craig was really starting to come into his own. Obviously had played, had a career game, I would say, in the Music City Bowl against Iowa at the end of last season, and, had some beautiful kicks. A beautiful 55-yarder before getting injured in this one as well. His last 4 field goals were from 51, 56, 49, and 55. So Craig the Leg indeed was living up to his name. Really, he was looking like a weapon, honestly. The way he was going, a young kid starting to just get his confidence going. Fortunately, Robert Meyer kicked 5 point-after attempts successfully for Missouri after Craig left the game. I'm going to be honest with you. Robert Meyer is not a name I had heard of or thought about in my entire life before yesterday. So what kind of a kicker is he going to be? I have absolutely no idea. I know that, obviously Missouri thought Blake Craig was the better option there, number one. Hopefully Meyer goes out there and crushes it. But this is a blow for Missouri, no doubt about it. And indeed, losing Sam Horn is a bit of a blow, too. Just having, obviously, your backup quarterback being a true freshman is less than ideal circumstances. Fortunately, Matt Zollers got in the ball game and threw his first touchdown pass, by the way. Jude James did most of the work there, the tight end. So, hey, the tight end passing game, by the way, a couple touchdowns for Missouri. Really a lot to like in this game. The only thing that I really didn't like is that, Beau Pribula definitely took a few too many hits, and there's no doubt that Caden Green was beaten inside pretty badly on a sack of Pribula. So you know what? Just how concerning is the offensive line? Is this a massive panic button that Missouri fans should be mashing right now? Well, let's talk about that coming up in just a second, but first, are you still paying full price for gas? Well, you are leaving money behind, my friend. You got to get cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Just download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash at the pump. And by the way, use my promo code football to get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. And don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo football for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code football. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. More than 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items for the most trusted brands in the business. Real-time inventory, honest lead times, keeps you from punting on your projects. Time is money, of course, and while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. And you know what's really cool? Their part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every single detail really matters. So join the free Trademaster program today and score serious points like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support line. Visit SupplyHouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's SupplyHouse.com. Real people, real service. And a quick request, Locked On wants to hear from you. We've got a survey for you to make our podcasts even better. Tell us what you like, what you don't. Answer questions about our advertising. So go to LockedOnPodcast.com/survey. To get started, everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's LockedOnPodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out. And indeed, the offensive line, the pass blocking, I would say in particular, it wasn't so much the run blocking in my opinion, but specifically the pass blocking for Missouri was definitely not great, especially against UCA. Against Central Arkansas, you don't want to see your starting quarterback get hit that often. And by the way, just while we're on the topic of quarterbacks getting hit in the pocket, well, famously, Tom Brady got his knee messed up in the pocket, okay? So this idea that what was Eli Drinkwitz doing, calling a run for Sam Horn against Central Arkansas or whatever, I mean, if you're really wanting your quarterback to not get injured, then never have him drop back to pass, because especially if you're not trusting your pass rush, that's when they're truly the most vulnerable. I just feel awful for Sam Horn, just on a personal level. I mean, the guy obviously loves football. He loves Columbia, loves Missouri, wants to be out there, is a good teammate by all accounts. And this is the luck that he has. I mean, my goodness, the old country term snake bit could not be more appropriate for Sam at this point. But back to the offensive line, I'll have to say I was, occasionally looking at my messages during the timeouts, that kind of thing. I had a lot of friends who were really bashing the Missouri pass protection. Well, a lot of these people were watching the game at home, so I thought, well, maybe they have a little bit of a different angle than me. They're seeing replays, that type of thing. I didn't think it was as bad as people were making it out to be. Certainly, Caden Green getting just, completely beat on an inside rush there. Hopefully that's just a 1 out of 100 type of deal. He'll learn from that, whatever it might be. That was a bad look, though, without question. You don't want to see that. And just too many free rushers at times was really, I thought, maybe more of the issue than anything. So really it came down more toward, I thought, bad communication at times. It wasn't as though, again, Green got beat that one time. You don't want to see that. But more often than not, when those free rushers were coming, it wasn't as though our offensive linemen were getting physically dominated or just run around, that type of thing. I just think at times Missouri didn't do its best job of actually communicating, hey, I got him, that type of stuff. Think about if you're a basketball player, hey, you want to make sure everybody's got their man, that type of deal. That happens pre-snap with the offensive line, and, well, there's been a lot of shuffling around here, of course, the last couple weeks, not just Caden Green moving from left guard to left tackle, but a new guy, of course, at right tackle, and Gadis, who was at right guard, moved, again, there's just a lot of new faces and faces who have moved to different positions in recent weeks. So to me, some of those free rushers, some of those communications issues, you don't want to see it, but it's August 28th. It was August 28th when Missouri played yesterday. That's not a surprise this early in the season that you have these types of communication issues. If anything, it's surprising that you didn't have more of them. It's almost surprising that Missouri didn't have some more false starts and that type of deal. So on the positive side, I thought that part was a positive. But the blocking is a concern. To me, it's a real concern for sure. The pass blocking in particular. Drinkwitz, he didn't sound as concerned as a lot of fans do either, but hey, we all know Drinkwitz, well, his relationship with the truth when talking to the media is sometimes inconsistent. Let's put it that way. So Drinkwitz said on the offensive line, there was some good, there was some bad, and some in between. So there was a couple of mistakes by guys learning to play new positions, but quote, overall, I was pretty pleased with today. So again, if you think that's coach speak, well, largely, I think some of it is for sure, but I think maybe some of that stuff is just early season, type of communication stuff that needs to be worked out. The problem is it's still early season in 8 days when we play Kansas, and we don't want to have those types of mistakes against the Jayhawks. The good news is, well, Jayhawks, they're probably going to have some similar problems as well. Missouri's not the only team that is very early into the season here. So, again, mixed bag with the offensive line. I thought the run blocking looked fine. Hey, 10 carries for 100 yards for Ahmad Hardy. Even had one called back on a hold that went about 30 yards or so. So I thought he looked the part. All systems go there. If anything, I thought he was load managed a little bit. Just 10 carries, I guess 11 including the one brought back by penalty. So not a ton of touches there for Hardy, and that makes complete sense. Why would you give him 30 carries against Central Arkansas? If you look at him as like an automobile or something, well, keep the good miles for Kansas, that type of deal. So bottom line, while the offensive line, the pass protection in general is a definite concern, I'm not going to tell you to not smash the panic button or anything like that, but I will say this again, it's early, but number two, it sure helps. Hey, if your pass protection is a little bit shaky, it sure helps to have a guy who can move around back there, and there's no doubt that Beau Pribula can do that. How impressive was his long touchdown run there where he kind of gave the defender a little okey doke with the pump fake and just outran a couple guys too, quite honestly. So on that pass protection, the thing is, some of that's going to be on Beau to get the ball out of his hands at times. A lot of times pass protection, some of it's on the quarterback too. That's the other thing. And we obviously need to be on the same page just in terms of actual communication. But on the positive side, I'll say this. Despite the concerns I just laid out, I think all of the positives far outweigh the negatives, even the depressing Blake Craig and Sam Horn injuries included there. I mean, if you bet the over at FanDuel, if you bet over 6.5 wins for Missouri this season, I mean, you got to feel pretty good about that after yesterday, because you just look at that Missouri defense and, well, all the skill guys out there on offense as well. Missouri has some freaking dudes out there on defense. And by dudes, I mean NFL dudes. That's what I'm talking about. This team has some freaking talent. Are we a playoff team? I mean, let's not go nuts just yet based on a game against Central Arkansas. But that really couldn't have gone much better for the most part, one glaring left tackle pressure aside. And speaking of those dudes on the Missouri defense, Damon Wilson certainly looked the part, and so did another Missouri newcomer. Let's talk about the new guys and also what was new at the stadium. One thumbs up and, well, one thumbs down. Something we can definitely work on here with the fan experience. But you know what? Let's also talk about the ticket experience. College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited, of course. And you know what? When you want last-minute tickets into the game, there's no better place to go than Gametime. The Gametime app gives the advantage back to the fans. And I pulled up the Gametime app recently in just a couple of taps. Man, you see amazing deals. I mean, I'm talking about tickets for as low as $25 in some cases. Now, not to the Missouri-Kansas game, I'm going to tell you that. Last time I checked, $250 to get in the door to, well, a new capacity of about 57,000 here at Memorial Stadium. But you know what? Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. And on that topic of Missouri newcomers, it was obvious that Damon Wilson was going to play a lot, and, well, we figured he was going to play pretty well, too. But when it came to Donovan Olugbode, the true freshman, well, that was much more of an interesting case to me, and we got actually a lot of action from him yesterday. I haven't seen the official snap counts yet, but several targets for Olugbode. He was very much involved and seemed like Missouri's fourth receiver yesterday. Obviously, Kevin Coleman looked the part and was a nice kind of safety blanket, really, at times for Beau Pribula. I thought Dominique, I keep calling him Dominique. Marquise Johnson, of course. Speedy Johnson played great, looked more than just a speedster, by the way, even though Pribula hit him with that perfect over-the-top pass on Missouri's first drive. Josh Manning's probably his best game in a Missouri uniform, other than maybe that UMass game last year, where I believe he had a pretty big game in that one as well. Speedy, by the way, 5 catches for 134 yards. I'd say that's 2 in a row for him, going back to the Music City Bowl, kind of showing that he's much more of a complete receiver once again than just a deep route guy. So again, those are your top 3. It sure looks like Olugbode right now, the true freshman, is your number 4 guy just based on usage yesterday. And when it comes to, well, the fan experience yesterday, 2 thumbs up on the new sound system, by the way. That was immediately noticeable to me and just a much more pleasant audio experience. And if you think, well, I talk about the audio too much on this show, it's because I have a big old microphone. I am obsessed with audio. What can I say? But the only thumbs down, I will say, about, maybe 20 minutes before the game, I was trying to get to my seats in the south end zone, and all of a sudden, wow, everything just came to a complete halt for a good 10 or 15 minutes. Just a wave of people coming the opposite direction. And obviously, with construction and all that stuff, there's a huge amount of people, evidently, that came in through the north side, affecting, well, the south side to a big extent as well. So I saw some Missouri beat people out there tisking the fans and saying, hey, they told you to get in your seats early. I tried to get there early. I don't know, earlier than I usually do. Let's put it that way. So, you know what? Tisk noted, and I will definitely get there much earlier for the Kansas game and be sure to be in my seats and see a little warm-ups this time. Nothing wrong with that. So, anyway, I really don't have a huge criticism for Missouri here. First game, obviously it wasn't going to be perfect entrance circumstances, but maybe something can be rethought there, that's for sure. All I know is I'm sure many fans like myself will do our part and probably get in even earlier next time, that's for sure. So, again, a great day at Faurot Field, beautiful weather. Loved it. Everything was great, other than maybe the firework debris on my head. I could have maybe lived without that as well, but I don't know. I guess I can't control the wind. What can I say? Again, great job to everybody at Faurot Field yesterday. Enjoyed it. Great times as always, and hopefully this has been a good time for you here today on Locked On Mizzou. And by the way, we got something exciting cooking for you here at Locked On. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. It's Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, also 2-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, bunch of local experts, college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV.